If your brother becomes poor, the scriptures say, and cannot maintain himself, you shall maintain him. You shall not lend him your money at interest, nor give him your food for profit. This is such an important idea, do you believe, that this is how Jesus begins his ministry? His first words are from Isaiah. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, he says, because he has anointed me to preach the good news to the poor. And Jesus proclaims the year of the Lord's favor, the year of Jubilee. I think that's Luke 4. What he was really talking about was an era of grace. And we're still in it. I mean, God may well be with us in our mansions on the hill. I hope so. He may well be with us in all manner of controversial stuff. Maybe, maybe not. But the one thing we can all agree, all faiths, all ideologies, is that God is with the vulnerable and the poor. God is in the slums, in the cardboard boxes where the poor play house. God is in the silence of a mother who has infected her child with a virus that will end both their lives. God is in the cries heard under the rubble of war. God is in the debris of wasted opportunity and lives. And God is with us if we are with them.
Since you and I were last together at the Vertigo concert in Chicago, a lot of things have happened in your life. You spoke at the U.S. Presidential Prayer Breakfast, and you won 2 Grammys, and you had this amazing rock concert tour. You were Time Magazine's Person of the Year, along with Bill and Melinda Gates, by any standards. This has been quite a year for you. And I was just wondering, of all of this stuff that's happened to you, which was most satisfying?
Well, selfishly, I would say to you that music is my first love, and which is outside of my family. You know, to wake up in the morning with a melody in my head is a great gift, and then to follow through on that melody and find words for that melody, and then, you know, hear it on a radio in Tokyo or Birmingham, Alabama, or, you know, London. This is a great thrill for me. That's my gift. I thank God for my gift, and I thank God it's still there, and that when I wake up in the morning, I hear those melodies and have those ideas in my head. But last year was also very important to me in terms of service, and in terms of the other reason to get out of bed in the morning, which is, you know, the work we're doing on the One campaign. This has been really extraordinary. You see, the poor and the most vulnerable in this world, they have representatives in the great capitals, but they are often, we are often not treated with the respect of other interest groups. We're sort of down the food chain, and we believe that that's wrong, and we want to represent the poor and the most vulnerable with without coming with our heads bowed and cowed and, you know, looking for the crumbs from the table. We believe that the poor deserve an honorable place at the table. They deserve the head at the table. Is how God would see
the real
things.
Spiritual activity that began in you in an accelerated way came through your involvement in a kind of youth group that you and a couple of the other members of the band got involved in, and you started studying the scriptures, and you really got into it quite a bit in those days.
I never had any problems with Christ, but Christians were always a bit of a problem for me, and I used to avoid them if I could. I found them always to be completely disinterested culturally, politically. I found it very hard to relax with them. They seemed strange to me. I'm sure I was strange to them. And yet, through all of this, I met in school, I met some people who knew the scriptures. It was quite a moment there when people got very interested in the early church and the possibilities of imitating the early church. But Christians can be very judgmental, and particularly the way people look, the way they carry on. They tend to judge people by surface problems, sexual immorality. These things are the preoccupation historically of the church, whereas, corporate greed or things like that will be never mentioned. I'm pretty sure that, the universe operates by the laws of karma, essentially. And all physical laws do. And, what you put out comes back against you, Then enters the story of grace, which really is the story of Christ, and which turned this view of the universe upside down. And it's completely counterintuitive. Very, very hard for human beings to grasp grace. We can actually grasp atonement, revenge, fairness, all of this we can grasp. But we don't grasp grace very well. I'm much more interested in grace because I'm really depending on it. So,
desperately needing it.
If I'm living by karma, I'm in big trouble.